Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for being here. We're waiting on our recording secretary. Just give her a few more seconds. And since we are recording, it should be a little bit easier for her to record the minutes. Oh, she got the minutes. Bridget, can you pull up the minutes in the agenda?
Yes, give me a moment. As we're waiting, everyone can work on the attendance link that is in the chat.
And if you're new and you are going to be elected tonight to serve as a SSD PAC representative, go ahead and sign in as a SSD PAC rep. Because we're going to vote you in a minute.
All right, Dr. Carter, would you like the agenda first?
Actually, we're going to have to do the roll call first. But yes, we'll like the agenda first and then the minutes. Can you pull up the attendance? Rob, do you see the attendance?
I'm looking.
Okay. Whoop, whoop. I forgot I'm sharing. That's not good.
My agenda was able to come up, but I'm just circling right now.
Okay.
I'm having some slow connection.
That's okay.
I do the internet or the agenda is up, but everything else is circling. So
okay.
Let me see if I can.
It's stating that since I'm recording, I can't minimize my Zoom. Hold on. It should be in the OneDrive. The attendance.
Rob, are you able, or do you have a good connection right now that you're able?
I'm using a new computer. I'm trying to get on now. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I got it. I got the attendance. It'll pop up. All right. She made it.
Well, the agenda is still on my screen, so that is ready, but everything else is not cooperating.
That's okay. That's okay. I don't think I'm still sharing my screen. I pray that I'm not. Okay. Hi, Christina. We're going to go ahead and go with the roll call at this time. Before we do that, let me switch my screen before I share it. Cancel that. Don't you love technology? I'm gonna go here. Okay. And we're here. We are here. I need all my buttons. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to February the 9th, 2020, our February meeting. I'm so glad that so many of you decided on tonight to take out time to come to the SSD Parent Advisory Council. I'm Dr. Kamisha Carter. I am the SSD PAC president, and I bring you greetings and welcome. At this juncture, we're going to go ahead and go with our meeting norms. Please respect everyone. We are all adults, so let's act accordingly, gang. Uh-oh, what'd I do? We will answer questions at the end of the report due to the time allotted for each section. All questions may not get answered in this forum. Please use the parking lot in the chat or on the board. Because of privacy issues, we are currently monitoring the chat. And the chat is only seen by the host and the co-host. So please, ma'am, please, sir, put your questions in. Also, we are allowing you to put it in the parking lot. So Bridget will put that link up at the first presentation, okay? We will run the agenda as printed. Any questions or comments outside of the printed or digital agenda must wait until public comments. We started something new this month. We're going to follow the BOE and the Governing Council as well as PRC. If you do not submit your public comments by 12 noon of the day of the meeting, then we will not allow you to speak. You have to turn it in to Christina Blankenship by 12 noon by the day of the meeting. We only have one public comment at this time that we will hear later on during public comments. Please put your information in the chat. We will not raise hands or do signals to be recognized. Just put your information. If you have a question and you want to put something, you want to ask something, put it either on the parking lot that will be provided for you or in the chat. And let's remember, we are here for the babies. We are here for the students, our students, your community students. Guys, each one reach one. We can't be great if we don't have the information. I don't know who quoted it, maybe me. Moving forward. We're gonna have a roll call in a quorum for the quorum.
Oh, I'm muted.
Oh, okay, so you're ready? Okay, because we got it.
I'm sorry.
You ready? Because we got it if you need some more time to prepare.
Nope, I'm good. I am on. We just had some technical difficulty. All right. Angela Hanks, Afton. Rachel Oddman, Afton. Anastasia Swan Vargas, Afton. Molly Suden Murphy, Brentwood. Christina Blankenship Clayton, here. Denise Bursey, Ferg Floor. Julie Henderson Collins, Ferg Floor. Latoya Nelson, Ferg Floor.
Here.
Okay. Cassandra Brown, Ferg
Here.
Floor. Natasha, I'm sorry. Cassandra Brown is here.
Yes, here.
Wonderful, thank you. Natasha Anderson Wright, Jennings. Mary Fitzgerald, Kirkwood. Mary
Mary is here.
Fitzgerald, Kirkwood.
Mary
She is here.
Okay. All
She
right.
may be having technical
in the chat.
difficulties.
Okay. Ellen Reed.
Here, Mary's gonna vote for Kirkwood tonight.
Okay, great. Thank you. Rebby Goebel, Ledoux. Janelle Blackwood, Lindbergh. Bridget Wildshoots, Litzinger.
Present.
Kim Gifford, Maplewood, Richmond Heights.
I'm here.
Thank you. Mary Mackler, Maplewood, Richmond Heights. Megan Fenlon, Melville. Jennifer Ibera, Melville. Fern Scott, Normandy. Melissa Upchurch, Parkway.
Here.
Shauna Barton, Parkway.
Here.
Thank you. Kamisha Carter, Pattonville. I know she's here. Carrie Ellis, Pattonville. Carrie Ellis, Pattonville. Robert Eaton, Rittner.
Here.
Thank you. Ashley Harrison Lawson, Rockwood. Veronica Leach, Rockwood. Denise Francis, Southview. Shanna Rudolph, Valley Park.
Here.
Thank you. One, two. Madam President, we have quorum.
Thank you so very much. Yay, we have quorum. Wonderful. Now we have to approve the agenda. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And Bridget, do you already have it up? Or Christina, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I do have it up and ready if Christina would like me to share.
Go right ahead. And remember, we have some revisions.
Absolutely. To the agenda
Okay.
or the minutes?
Well, the agenda has to be revised because we need to vote to revise the December minutes and make a revision to the draft January minutes.
Okay. So this is what we'll
Were
do.
sent out.
We'll do that under minutes.
So
We'll approve the agenda as is. And when we get to minutes, then we'll, no, you're shaking your head, no.
the agenda has to reflect that.
That we
Yes.
need to amend December's, agenda?
Yes. Yes, the agenda has to reflect what we are doing. So you have to make your plan and work plan. So the agenda has to say what we are going to be voting on. And so if we are voting to revise the December minutes, it has to state because a motion is required. Now we can say we're going to vote on the January minutes. We just have to note that and show up on the screen what it is we're revising to the draft that we send out to everybody in advance. Does that make sense?
Okay. It makes sense, but I think that's a
So
separate
I have
motion.
the February.
Explain myself clearly?
Yeah, but I think that's a separate motion altogether. I understand what you're saying. We need to add it to the agenda. I understand that, but I think that that's a separate entirely motion altogether. Does that make sense?
It'll be a separate motion within the agenda when we're working the agenda.
Okay. So at this point, we have an addition to the agenda to add the amended December meeting, December minutes. Anything else we need to add to the agenda for tonight?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right. So,
I apologize. I got kicked out of Zoom. Do you need the screen shared again?
please, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, so are we still on February agenda?
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Okay,
Okay, may I have a motion that we will amend the approve the agenda with the ratification of adding December, adding the modifications to December on this agenda.
Dr. Carter, I make a motion that we approve the agenda with the changes for the December.
Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, because the
Christina.
motion was about to fail. All right, so, okay, so we have the agenda with the amended movement of adding December,
Go ahead and
adding
vote.
December minutes to the agenda to be voted on with the addendum of the information that is supposed to be there.
And does the motion pass?
We
All
haven't,
those in
we
favor?
haven't taken a vote.
Okay.
All those in favor? Represent
Aye.
by saying aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed? Hearing none, any abstain?
Any opposed?
No opposed, no opposition, no abstain.
Okay.
All right. Let's do the December meeting first. Do you have that?
Yes, I do.
Let's do December first.
Someone needs to, okay, there we go.
Oh, I love the little babies I see. Yay.
Screen now.
No, ma'am.
Yes, you see it?
No, ma'am, we don't.
Okay. Why is this not? Okay, Zoom. It is not showing me on the Zoom.
Okay.
are you a
Bridget,
co-host, Christina?
I don't know. Did she make me a co-host? I probably wasn't on when she could make me.
No, Dr.
But-
Carter, can you click her as a co-host? I don't think I can do it.
She
I-
is a co-host. Let's go ahead for time's sake, let's go ahead and put up the January minutes. Bridget, you had January, didn't you?
Yes.
Let's go
The
ahead.
Here they are.
January minutes have been amended since they were sent out.
Christina, are you able to put up either minutes or can you send them by email to either one of us so we can get it up?
Well, I'm pulling them from the SharePoint. I'm opening them from the SharePoint. And I have them up on my computer, but I cannot. There we, okay, let's try again.
So Bridget, stop
Unshare
sharing
your
your
screen.
screen. Thank you.
Move this to the side. It is in the SharePoint. I am locked out now. If you go to Dr. Carter, if you go to your personal SharePoint and you,
Okay.
the meeting minutes are in there. When you go to meeting minutes and agendas and stuff, you're going to see for December where it says draft revised.
Mm-hmm.
And under January, you will see draft. And you will want to click on the Word version of both of those because that is where I put the information. They are not yet in a PDF because we have not voted on them yet. Do you see those?
I'm looking.
And members, again, I apologize that we're having technical difficulties tonight, as well as change ups.
One second, baby.
My computer just shut everything down but the Zoom.
I see September.
Look under the agenda, under general, PAC General Council for 2021, 2022.
I see it.
Okay, cool.
I see it.
Okay.
There we go. We apologize for our on-the-job cross training that we are doing at this present time. Bear with us. There we go. This is the December minutes. Okay.
And the only thing that's changed is the last part of the minutes where we've added in the plus delta data.
Okay.
What is it called? Teamwork to make the dream work? Your
Of
Dr. Carter.
course. Of course. All right. And this is the information from the plus delta from the December meeting.
Mommy,
Yes, baby.
what time is it?
7:28. Mhm. All right. So I need a motion to accept the amended minutes for December 2021 meeting, December the 8th, 2021. May I have a motion?
I move to accept them, the smallest Upchurch.
May I have a second?
I'll second it, Dr. Carter.
That's Rob.
Yes.
Okay. All right, it has been moved and second. May I please have a vote? All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? Hearing none, all abstain. Hearing none. Okay, let me stop sharing and get to the Zoom,
The January.
the January. Is that in the same folder?
It's in the same area, yeah, in the end of January. And it should say draft revised, and it's in a Word document. It hasn't been saved.
Oh, it's at the top. Okay.
Breaking up on me.
All right. Okay. Okay, and here we have for January 12, 2022 minutes. This is what you had in your notes, in your email. So we're just gonna go ahead and go through to the end where the plus deltas were amended.
Yay!
Okay. Do we have a motion to accept the January 12th, 2022 minutes as written?
I'll motion. It's Christina.
Okay. Can we have a second?
I'll second Bridget Wildschutz.
Okay. There's a motion. We have a question on the floor. It says, did we have access to the minutes in advance? The email said it was attached, but it was a file I could not open. Kim, what we'll do is put it in, we can put the file in the chat to everyone, and then we'll have an opportunity to look at it. Was that the case for everybody? Do I hear head nods? I can't see anything. Yes, no, maybe it's you.
Was
Okay,
everybody able to hear the question?
Did everyone have access to the minutes?
Yes, everybody should have had access to the minutes.
Okay, so Kim, I'll put the actual form in the chat. What we'll do is go ahead and hold the vote, and you just abstain from this vote since you didn't have an opportunity. Does that work? Okay, so the motion on the floor is that we accept the minutes as presented with the amendment of the plus deltas. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, and we have one abstention,
Okay, great.
and that's Kim Gifford. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, that was a lot. Okay, let me stop sharing this and go ahead and share this. Hold on. Let me move this out. Okay, so we have done the approval of the agenda with necessary modifications, approval of the minutes with necessary modification for December and January. Now, here's the fun part. I'm so excited that we have, I think it's 13, or I may not have been able to count right, with new members and renewals. If you are a part of that group that needs to renew by February the 15th, please submit your self-nomination form. Please, ma'am, please, sir, submit your nomination form by February 15th. Okay? Here are our new and renewed members. We have Erica Henderson from Ferguson Florissant. Is she on the call? I thought I saw her. Say hi, Erica Henderson.
I'm Dr. Carter.
Okay, yes.
We vote on renewals during the April meeting.
Oh, okay. We vote on renewals during the April meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Is it-
we won't say your name.
Notification no later than January 10th to complete it and to the executive committee no later than February. SSD PAC members take place no later than May 31st. We will hold the election at the April 13th meeting. However, we do have individuals that submitted self-nomination forms that their district will not be up for renewal at the April meeting, and they can be voted in today. So for instance, Krista Goldman can be voted in today from Parkway. Ms. Chisholm from Rittner can be voted in today.
She's new.
Yes, she's new.
Erica Henderson can be voted in today. She's new.
Okay, but she'll have to be renewed in April because that district is on.
So Ms.
Even
Henderson,
your
we'll talk offline.
election.
We're gonna go
So
ahead and
even if
vote.
she gets voted in today, we'll. Okay.
We're gonna go ahead and vote you in today. And then we'll talk offline. You'll just have to renew yourself.
Great.
Okay, that'd be fine.
Okay,
Thank you.
you. And that would be the same for Latricia Clark, because Normandy is going to be renewed again in April, correct?
Right.
So we're gonna go ahead and vote them in because we really have low numbers in those areas. And I don't think they'll mind to resubmit the self-nomination form.
Just as long as mine.
So let's get it on record. Ms. Henderson, you said you wouldn't mind resubmitting.
No, I don't mind resubmitting. in April.
Okay. Specialist Clark, do you mind resubmitting?
No, I do not mind resubmitting.
Okay, thank you. So the people we will not vote for today will be Cassandra Brown, Ferguson Florissant, Angela Hanks, Afton, Christina Blankenship, Clayton, and Latoya Nelson, Ferg Floor. Everyone else is new. So the new people that we have tonight are Erica Henderson, Ferguson Florissant, Crystal Goldman, Parkway, Tequila Chisholm, Rittner. Are those two ladies on the call? Krista Goldman, Tequila Chisholm, Latricia Clark, Specialist Clark, Normandy. We just heard her. Ashley Jameson.
Here.
Okay, she's on the call for Parkway. And Monique Hines Smith. I saw her pretty picture.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so these ladies will be voted in. May I have a motion to vote in Erica Henderson, Ferguson Florissant, Krista Goldman, Parkway, did we get a hear from Tequila Chisholm? Not hearing. Latricia Clark Latricia Clark. The EDS is a specialist. So yes, Normandy, Ashley Jameson, Parkway, Monique Highsmith, Hazelwood.
Do we have a Kelly?
Kelly is wanting to do it in
She is,
August. We spoke today.
okay.
May I have a motion?
Dr. Carter, I make a motion that we vote in the members as you listed.
May I have a second?
I'll second. This is Kim.
Thanks, Kim. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, any abstain? Okay, Latricia's name is capital L-A, capital T-R-I-C-I-A. And she would like to have the EDS on there. Okay,
Latia.
L-A, capital T-R-I-C-I-A.
Thank you for that amendment.
No problem.
Okay, we have a couple of questions. Mary, at election time in April, we'll vote for each person individually. And let's see. Yes, we did do that in the past. It was my brain for it. I was excited. I saw all the names. So that's what happened. So moving forward, if my Toastmasters coach was here, he'll say, you used so 15 times. Okay, moving forward. My president's report. Currently, we will not have any meetings in March. That spring break is hard to get everybody together to have quorum to do any of the PAC business. So we will reconvene in April. In April, we'll open up the floor for nominations for executive committee, as well as renewing those who have to renew for the 2-year term. At this time, we'll have a PRC report from our vice president.
So PRC met Monday night of this week. We had an awesome presentation from Dr. Pendergrass, who will be presenting to us tonight on the effects of the pandemic on special school district. And we are getting closer to that June deadline. Right now, we have moved back to all of our meetings are virtual. So as a reminder, if you want to speak at those, you do need to send Rita an email in advance, and she can get that taken care of for you. But we are proceeding as we can, and everything so far has been incredibly informative and lots of very informative and great information, and looking forward to seeing what else we got in store.
Thank you. Now we have our correspondent secretary report, Bridget Washutes.
Good evening, everyone. In terms of communication, it's always important to make sure that you are filling out the attendance form at our meetings. And that way you will be continuing to get communication from us. If you are a visitor, that is perfectly fine. We can still add you to our listserv. So if you are interested in getting information about meetings and things going on, please continue to do that. We are continuing to do our MailChimp newsletter, and also for PAC members or emails that go out through that. Amy Doyle, the board secretary, is also posting that information to make it available to you. So there are many different ways that you can get information about meetings and information with the PAC. So at any time, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out through the PAC email, and we would be happy to answer any of your questions. Thanks for joining today.
And also, due to privacy concerns, we are only blind copying everyone so that your information can be safe. And Kim, I'm still trying to work on getting that link in the chat. Now we have Christina Blankenship, our recording secretary.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Carter. Dr. Carter, could you possibly, whoever's sharing the screen, could show the SSD PAC website?
I can pull it up, Christina.
Okay.
I apologize. I keep getting dropped from the call. So
I got it. I had it. No problem. It's right there.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Carter.
Not a problem. Let me move you.
all right, I just shared my screen.
Oh, you got it? We don't see it. I got it, if you want me to share it. There you go.
Yeah, whoever.
All right, I apologize.
Great.
I keep getting dropped from the Zoom. So hopefully you're able to see it now.
Ready to scroll down.
Okay, so as the corresponding secretary, you're also the custodian of records for the SSD PAC. So yes, I do more than chirp in Dr. Carter's ear during meetings. So if you go to our homepage, scroll down a little bit. You'll see that we've enhanced our announcement information. The new information regarding public comments is there. Also a link to any agenda.
Mommy, I did it.
If you go to the agenda and meeting minutes page here on the left, you'll see that we have our information out there regarding sunshine law requests. And we will be adopting a sunshine law request form. It will follow basically the same format as sunshine request for the SSD Board of Education. Underneath that, you will find meeting minutes, agendas, and presentations there. So all the stuff that we send out to you guys, the agendas, the final minutes, any attachments, any presentations that we talk about, it's all in there. We're making sure you're getting all this robust information, because sometimes it's a lot to unpack during the meeting. And then scroll down. So new that we have, there's now a button. So if you would like to watch the video from last month's meeting, just go there and press that button, and it will take you to the Zoom recording for the January 12th meeting. We are in the process, so tonight's meeting will appear there. And as we go through the process, we will figure out how soon after the meeting. And we're also going to work to post the recording that we have for both the November and the December meetings there. And the principal reason behind that is it will give greater access to our families. So families that haven't been able to attend meetings and want to attend meetings, or you as members, you don't get to attend a meeting. I do the very best I can to give you, as much of like a transcript of meeting minutes, but sometimes it's just easier to watch it. So it's about transparency, it's about accessibility, and also it falls in line with the practices of the governing council and the SSD board. We are working with SSD technology, and eventually we're hoping that we will be able to stream live like the governing council via YouTube, and then have the recordings on YouTube. And what we'll do is we'll have a link here on the website where it will go to the YouTube. But this is our stopgap measure for the time. And we just wanted to make you aware of that's been done, so that we can be more transparent, better serve our members and the families in St. Louis County. And that's all I have to report at this time. Thank you, Dr. Carter.
Thank you. Also, we have removed, for those who need to know, we have removed the PAC's information off of the website. It was on the website from previous administrations. We pulled that information for privacy's sake. Okay, without any further ado, we are now in the hands of Dr. Keenan and Chief Pendergrass for the superintendent report, the legislative report, and our presentation for tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Carter. So first of all, I want to thank Rob for coming to the board meeting last night. He was there working with the PRC. They stayed not only just for their presentation, but they stayed further into the night so that I could see them taking notes. So I really think that this PRC process is really a great way for us to just really get an outside view from people to see what we're doing well, but also to see where we can also make some improvements. And I think that, we're really looking forward to the not only the report, but what we can do to incorporate it into our ongoing new strategic plan and our CSIP, and how we can enhance some of our goals. So that, to me, I don't want everybody to go through all this work without us really saying we're going to be really taking what the recommendations are from the PRC and putting them into action. I think that in not necessarily in a bad way, but it always hasn't been that way. I know Keisha Lee has been a part of this with the last one, and they weren't always followed up on. So that, when I came in, we started to, really take root with this, and Ms. Pendergrass and working with our district leadership team really has built it up within our day-to-day work. So it's not something that's just a separate entity. But I'm really excited to see where we're going to continue to grow with this. The other thing is we are entering in and finalizing some of our budgets for the preliminary budget, which will be going to the board in February. At the end of this month, we've been meeting with every superintendent and their team, and we've gone over all the budget. We've talked about data, we've talked about materials, we talked about professional development. We've talked about all of the components that we need that are necessary to support each district. We do have some set kind of parameters in terms of when we're looking at additional staffing, and if it looks under the case management, or if it's under disproportionality for those districts that are identified, or if we've also identified high needs districts. So we're trying to provide them some additional supports too. And I think that, the commitment that the superintendents that they put into these meetings, they're showing up, they're there, they have conversations with us. And I think it's really shows that the new model that we instituted this beginning of this year with the director in every district really is beneficial to understand what each district really is trying to accomplish. We are also building into the format for our budget is we're going to be looking at centralized purchasing. Dr. Bolton is really working on that so that we are making sure that we are creating purchasing power through our centralized mechanisms, and so that teachers in partner districts and teachers in one district are receiving a program, and they're getting it paid for by their director. But in some districts, necessarily that wasn't happening, or sometimes in some districts they weren't provided that same support, and they were having to purchase it on their own. So we're going to continue to make sure that every district and what they map out with their curriculum, the materials that we're purchasing it, whether it's within their district, but also at that collective larger area that we have in centralized purchasing. The other thing that we're going to continue to work on over the next couple months is the finalization of the strategic plan with the SSD school board. We started this a year and a half ago, where the board has adopted the vision, mission, core values, and their goals. And now we're also instituting some action plans that will go with the goals within the strategic plan. We'll be bringing that to the board and then the governing council. We're also going to be updating our CSIP. So both of these are going to be 5-year plans. The CSIP is a necessary component for the M66, which is required through DESE. But we've already been doing a CSIP. We're adding in the overall arching higher level strategic plan. The CSIP is really going to be that plan that's the ongoing mechanisms and all the pieces that we're working on a daily basis within the organization. And so that's what we're really going to be focusing in on for the next several months. And then finally, we're going to be finalizing our framework for professional development for equity. We've been working on that all this year. Dr. Michael Macklin, who is our director of equity, really has been doing a great job of working not only with our SSD schools, but sending it and going out to the partner districts and talking about the equity framework. And we're going to continue to, we're 2 years into our 5-year plan with our equity framework. And then we're going to continue to move on in terms of expansion of how do we provide not only professional development, but looking at our policies, looking at our culturally responsive teaching practices. So that's going to be the other big key initiative that we're going to be working on in the spring of this year. So we're about the strategic plan, and we're all about the equity finalizations of our plan with the equity framework. The other thing is we are going to be presenting, I think it's either March or April. Ms. Morgan's on here. What are we talking about? PETA and family engagement. We've received some feedback in terms of how do we make sure that these two departments that are just so fabulous, a group of fabulous women who are out there with some great efforts to support our families with resources. And we're going to create one department together. Instead of having PETA and family engagement, we're going to be talking to the board about what it's going to look like as one group, so that we will still continue with initiatives and the great work that they're both doing, but it's going to be under one umbrella. So we're going to update that, bring that to the board, and we'll bring that to you after that does get rolled out, so that we can explain further. Really, it isn't so much about what's going to change in the content and what they're doing. It's really about making sure we're connecting the two, the family engagement and the PETA group together under to support the parents and with resources, information, and the ongoing professional development that we do so great with. So that's going to be up and coming, and we'll be able to talk to all of you more about what that's going to look like. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Keenan.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Dr. Carter.
I was going to say the exact same thing you said. Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Jinx, I'll get you a Coke then. Thank you very much. As Dr. Carter and Vice President Eaton, Mr. Eaton had said, I'm going to go over, and tonight I have the pleasure of also having Dr. Kelly Grigsby, Ms. Shakita McRiddle, and Alan Wheat to also share in the presentation with me this evening. So basically what we're going to talk about is what has SSD learned from the COVID and all of the situations that we've experienced. So what we'll do is talk about the good, the opportunities, and where we're going to go from here, and kind of by department, what each department had experienced and what we learned, and of course, some of our struggles. If you remember the beginning, back in March of 2016, Dr. Keenan was chosen to write a letter for the first time ever of closing the schools for a period of time because of this thing that was called COVID happening in the county area. At that time, if you remember, in March, it was spring break. So districts were thinking that during the spring break time, they would close for maybe the week of spring break, maybe the second week of spring break, and that we would then be able to come back after that spring break. And that did not happen. By April of 2020, we were still closed, and we were making decisions to go ahead and close for the remainder of the school year. So what does that mean? We implemented distance learning plans and the Form Gs. And about that time is when the U.S. Department of Education announced that students with disabilities needed to be educated to the best extent possible. So what did that mean? We needed to figure out how to virtually complete related service. We needed how to virtually do online courses. We needed to do virtual everything. So we started building that plane as we were flying it. We also, unfortunately, continued on with the closed school and also offered summer school virtually. It was great during this time that our districts and all of our districts in this area during the closure continued to pay staff for their supports and their work. So that was at least took one stress off the plate. Special school district decided to open in different phases. We started with, in June, we started opening central office. As slowly staff came back in central office. In 2021, we still had distant learning. We had town hall meetings. We wanted to be very transparent with our families and our school districts, in all of our school districts, to have a family choice. Of course, we were supporting partner districts and the multiple decisions that they were making, whether they were virtual or had some on virtual, some distance learning, some in person. By October, we provided our families with the opportunity of choosing if they wanted to be in person or virtual. Summer of 2020, we offered extended school year in person, and we also had universal summer supports to kind of assist with getting students back into the classroom and really trying to expose them to wonderful learning opportunities. We continue now to continue to update our reentry plan on a regular basis. We shared it with our Board of Education monthly. We shared it last night. So that is something that we will continue to do. Our budget, when you looked at our budget and how our budget supported, there was this thing called ESSER money that was provided by the federal government. What that allowed for us is multiple PPEs. So a few slides later, you'll see the huge amounts of PPE that we have purchased and continue to purchase to keep staff and students safe. We were able to purchase technology when technology was available. Of course, if you remember at that time, there was a lot of disruption in delivery and services. So as we were able to purchase and receive technology, we're able to get it out to both our teachers, staffs, families, and parents. COVID cleaning protocol, we were able to really have very specific cleaning opportunities with our clean tech, cleaning doors, cleaning trash cans, cleaning restrooms, really trying to keep our infection down for students and staff. That is a little glimpse of what our ESSER fund was and what we've expended thus far. We're still January 11th of 2022. The state government has not approved the budget, but they're assuming they're going to. We are now looking at allocating some type of tutoring with our students or some other options for learning loss with those funds. That there'll be more information to come as we build it. For partner districts, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Chiquita McRiddle.
Thank you, Wendy, and good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here before you this evening and to share this information. I just want to share a quick brief overview of programming and supports during this during this previous time. And so attendance is that first area that I would like to talk about. We know that there has been a large number of cases and quarantines with both students and staff, and it has definitely impacted attendance at times. In collaboration with our partner districts, several plans have been developed to monitor attendance, but to also provide substitute coverage and ensure that we're able to provide services. We know that this has not been easy. Of course, we've never been in a situation like this before, and we are continuing to learn. We do see that there is improvements in this area, and we look forward to those improvements continuing as we move forward. With regards to staffing, administration continues to recommend candidates for hire and develop plans to recruit and retain staff. Our focus has been on those vacancies with our paraprofessionals. We have planned to support with many recruitment and retention efforts that also include incentives for those paraprofessional vacancies. We have revised the hiring process for paraprofessional vacancies, where we are really looking closely at specific regions within the district. And when we have those candidates to apply, they know specifically what areas they are applying for, which has been definitely a benefit. So those current vacancies, again, they are by those quadrants and or regions, and it allows the candidates to identify those specific districts that they desire to work in. Delivery of instruction. So during the closure and distance learning, our students' ability to participate in virtual instruction, it was supported through planning collaboratively to support student needs in all of our partner districts. And so school teams, they have worked intensely to provide accommodations and modifications in a virtual format. And we know, again, that this has not been easy, and we continue to learn and we continue to grow in this area, working collectively with our partner districts and all of the departments and divisions within special school district. Our staff and students were issued technology devices as well as Wi-Fi to access virtual instruction, and we will continue to do that in the future as needed. We do understand that in our partner districts, many of our students receive those devices directly from the partner districts, and in those events where we have needed to provide support to students and our districts, we have been on standby to do that. SSD administrators, our directors and SPED coordinators, they have worked with partner districts to support the development of alternative methods of instruction. And so these are those AMI plans that allow students to continue to participate in virtual instruction. Some of them just recently had some of these AMI days due to our recent snow days. And so this allows students, again, to continue to participate in learning activities virtually. Social emotional, students with social emotional as well as behavioral needs, they were impacted as social skills instruction and supports in individual and group settings. It's difficult to happen in a virtual world. And so as students return to in-person learning, many students needed support with transitioning back to the school setting. And our staff have worked again with partner districts to identify resources to support students with transitioning back in person. And we have to take into consideration that we are partners in education, and we are service providers to support our students within their home schools. And our home schools, they take on that primary responsibility of building these systems to support our students, and we are there to collectively work with them. And so this framework places an emphasis on problem solving and decision making being practiced at all levels to support students academically as well as social emotionally. And the last area that I will speak about tonight is academic achievement. And what we still do not know is the full impact of COVID as it relates to academic achievement. And students are participating in district level benchmark assessments and state level assessments. And we do have some of that data that, of course, our partner districts have available as well as the state. And this data is being used to identify student proficiency levels and also to determine gaps in student achievement. And so as we continue to work collectively with each partner district individually, our staff will continue to work collaboratively with each of our partner districts to develop those action plans to improve student outcomes.
Thank you, Ms. McRiddle.
Thank you.
So technology, as Ms. McRiddle had said, we worked collaboratively with partner districts and realized as we were going through distance learning or online learning that technology needed to be deployed rapidly for our students to be able to learn. Not only did technology such as Chromebooks or iPads need to be delivered, but some families had difficulty with Wi-Fi. So we provided hotspots. We worked collaboratively with our partner districts, and where our partner districts may have been able to provide a Chromebook, we were able to provide a hotspot so the student had a complete technology. We also offered family supports. We offered online, and we continue to offer both online and a technology hotline for our families, just in case families were able to keep up. We still struggle with supply chain issues and shipping delays. I think that's probably something that we will continue to focus on and struggle with. One positive thing is we were able to provide technology to all of our staff in our districts. All of our paraprofessionals have access to technology. Laptops, Chromebooks. So we were really able to enhance our virtual learning platforms. Multiple type of devices have been deployed. So when you think of just normal technology devices, we also had assistive technology devices. We were able to drop those devices off in as touchless as possible to some of our families where our students needed that. We need to continue to support technology services. So our Chief Technology Officer, Doug Austin, really worked collaboratively with the technology officers in all of our partner districts and continues to work. There is a variety of different Zooms and Microsoft tools and a lot of virtual ways that we can have platforms for students to learn. Canvas, so really getting that information out there, how to work with as a team, and then how to provide that day-to-day operation so our families are able to use it as well as our students. Mr. Alan Wheat, would you like to share about student service and support?
Yes, thanks. So in student services, the challenges were similar to the Ms. McRiddle's presentation in terms of attendance being a concern due to close contact and positive cases. A key difference with student services is that many of the provider types operate physically closer to students as well as serving multiple buildings. And so there's a lot of additional challenges where one close contact may have a cascading impact across multiple locations. So as Ms. McRiddle said, we still don't know the full impact that the time of closure and the implications of COVID have had on academic achievement. Next slide. And for our nurses in particular, we have clinic nurses in our schools, and then we also have one-to-one nurses that support highly acute students. And additionally, they have all the same challenges that every other educator and family has during this time of COVID. But additionally, because of their training and role, nurses were and are in more direct contact with people who have symptomatic COVID. Their expertise was called on to do a lot of the screening at buildings to ensure safety. Many of our nurses volunteered to participate in our vaccination clinics, where we vaccinated approximately 1,000 staff and community partners. They've been highly engaged in contact tracing of students who were exposed to an individual who was positive with COVID. Our nurses work really hard to meet the needs of our students and sites in these challenging and unpredictable times. We're very grateful for everything they do. Next slide. Wendy mentioned earlier the PPE. This is a small cross section. It represents the lion's share, but there's also some additional things. Because exceptional students don't fit into any single mold, we have multiple options for many of these types of PPE, but as you can see, from typical masks to surgical masks, and the advanced N95 and KN95s we've ordered and have been distributing since the beginning, substantial quantities of those. Because of how spread out we are and how many staff we have, we've needed quite a bit. Hand sanitizer alone, that's a pretty impressive amount of hand sanitizer, and at this rate we'll still have some in a few decades. The face shields and additionally an example are those clear masks. Those are face masks designed for persons who use their eyesight to interact with others. So they're clear face masks so that they can see people's lips. Thermometers, badger shields is another example for students that have different sensory needs. So we did and are continuing to keep a very ample supply of equipment to keep people safe. Next slide.
It is the schools. Thank you very much. Dr. Grigsby, would you like to speak of the impact of the schools and programs?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Sorry, my granddaughter's putting a puzzle together next to me, so we're going to try this. But good evening, everybody. I want to give you an update on the schools and programs. I think I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about the technical schools. I don't think that there's anything in our schools that COVID hasn't impacted. I mean, it's impacted our student attendance, it impacted our staff attendance, and it continues to impact us with regards to quarantines, although we have seen the cases decreasing, which we're thankful for. During closure and distance learning, we also saw our enrollments decline, but we are absolutely starting to see those go back up as we've been locating students. The socialization and structure that we typically provide students, but we were unable to provide during closure, has definitely impacted our students. We have seen more significant behavior. And I mean, I'm attributing that to COVID, but who knows at this point, but we have definitely seen our students struggling and in many ways our staff struggling at times as well. We don't, again, as Ms. McRiddle said, we don't know the full extent of COVID. We don't know what the full extent is going to be on academic achievement. We're going to continue to work hard with our students and make sure that we're doing everything we can to support them both academically and socially. Next slide. We also saw an impact on SNAP and homebound, some things we don't necessarily talk about that frequently here in PAC. For the 2021 school year, we offered SNAP only virtually. This year, students and staff are all in person with mitigation strategies in place. Homebound was also affected. So during the 2021 school year, we only offered homebound virtually. This year, we're offering homebound some in person and most of it is also virtual at this time. Next slide. We've improved our communications with families and staff. I think that's one of the things we've really focused on over the last year and a half to almost 2 years now, is you have to be communicating with families, you have to be communicating with staff, and information is changing all the time. We've also learned to incorporate more technology into our instruction. So that's carried over from distance learning into the classroom. We continue to struggle with, we have Chromebooks for all of our students, but making sure that those come back and forth as needed. That's a struggle at time. Staff rely on students to bring their devices back. Sometimes they don't come back, so we've had to make sure we have available devices to supplement that. We've also had to provide ways to provide learning opportunities for students who really just, virtual is not their thing. So we continue to work on that as well. Next slide. I'll talk to you a little bit about career and technical education as well. Kevin Andert, in place of Kevin Andert tonight. Enrollment is down both at North and South Tech for multiple factors. We had a large number of sophomores and juniors withdraw from both campuses when we returned to in-person learning. They weren't necessarily comfortable with that yet. Also, because of the alignment between their schedules at home. So what we saw was in the partner districts, we saw some schedule changes, moving more to that 4 classes a day. And so that led to some difficulties with scheduling. But we've been working through those with our partner district partners. Application numbers were down. Kevin provided us a little bit of data here that you can look at the side. But we really have worked in our tech schools to develop virtual methods to engage students. You know, when you think of a technical education, you think of hands-on learning, really very much in the classroom with your hands on the materials. So as we have had to move at times to a more virtual delivery model during COVID, we really had to work with our professionals in the industries to help us support students in the classrooms. Next slide.
Thank you, Dr. Grigsby.
Thank
For
you.
our Department of Teaching, Learning, and Accountability, there's several things that have happened. That is our department that really looks at professional development, helps us support our staff in the buildings, helps train our paraprofessionals as they come in. Some positive things that we have learned is the options for basically doing online learning, professional development. We were so used to doing professional development face-to-face. We had to be very creative, and that creativity has actually moved into this year and will probably continue about the different ways that we don't have to have teachers leave the classroom or leave their buildings in order to have professional development. The validity in the research that we share with the strategies and the data on how we build strong relationships with our families in the SSD schools and in some of our partner districts. There's a lot of support that is provided by PETA and our family engagement outreach, where our relationships, I truly believe that if it wasn't for the relationships we had with our families, we would not have been as successful, and our students wouldn't have been as successful as they were during the virtual learning. We have learned how to develop additional supports for students and staff as they access for utilizing COVID learning and beyond. Increased, as Dr. Grigsby had talked about, family communication, what exactly we need to do, and the partnership with our families. And also really look at the outcomes for students who receive ABA or ABA programming, the variety of ways that we can deliver that both in person and virtually. Some of the challenges, of course, are onboarding staff. How do you make staff feel welcome as you bring them into a district of this size when they were in a virtual environment? Some of our teachers literally came in for their first year of teaching and not only had to learn how to teach a class virtually, but then also have a group of students sitting in front of them. So how do we support that? How to maintain projects, the inequities or the gaps in the communication. Technology was a problem, receiving technology. So we wanted to make sure that we were able to identify those challenges and get technology to the right place. Reduced number of staff engaging in professional development. We do see that. We want, due to absences, we do see a variety of staff not able to attend or leave their classrooms to participate in professional development. So how we have learned how to record professional development and have them be able to watch it at a later date. Observations for our staff. How do we support our teachers during observations, both in a virtual and in classroom environment? The challenge due to staff attendance and shortages, students missing instruction due to a variety, and of course our vacancies. There is a theme that I think you can see throughout some of the struggles that we saw in many different areas. So what do we want to do moving forward? We really want to continue to partner. Foundationally, I think our relationships have really become stronger due to COVID and this incident. It's had to allow us to have very clear communication, open lines of communication, both with our partner districts, our families, and our staff. We will continue to work on our equity framework, as Dr. Keenan alluded to. Transportation is another area that is unique because of the shortage with some of the districts and the drivers, really figuring out how we can make our routes more effective, both with our partner districts and in our schools. We also were able to infuse all of our districts with instructional coaches. So how can we monitor the impact that our instructional coaches are having to help support our teachers implement materials and curriculum? And then continue to work on our vacancies. And Dr. Keenan also alluded to, we are really excited to implement our new strategic plan and CSIP. So we are wrapping up our CSIP plan for this year, and we'll be launching our new strategic plan and CSIP plan next year. And that is all. Thank you very much.
Hey, Wendy, can I interject on one piece around the vacancies, just to clarify that? When we have our vacancies, when we looked at them year over year, there's been a lot of concern from people saying that we're going to have a large group of teachers, or, you know, because of the stresses and all that stuff. We have been monitoring that over the last 3 years. We are right now at this time where we are not seeing more resignations than we have over the past 2 years for both teachers and for paraprofessionals. And right now, our retirements are half of where they were a year ago. So that does show that we are continuing to try to adjust and support our staff. We know that we're trying to be able to make sure that they stay on with us. The other part of our vacancies is that when you look at most districts right around in the district, in the St. Louis County area, they're about 15% of vacancies. For teachers or for support staff. We are 98% of our teaching staff are hired. So we actually started the school year out with 0 vacancies, and now we've over the past couple of months we're at 11 vacancies for teachers right now, out of about 2,100 teachers. So that's a really high rate of hiring. And I was just on a Zoom call with our superintendents, like we are every Wednesday. And there's a superintendent outside of St. Louis County who's been looking for special ed teachers for 3 years, and they had 0 applicants. So for us to have over 2,100 teachers and only 10 vacancies, that's extremely well. That actually is better than a lot of the partner districts what they're doing with their gen ed teachers. So it's not a competition, but I just want to put it in the reality of the context. Our administrators are 100% are filled. So we don't have any vacancies there. The areas that we're seeing the largest vacancies is the paraprofessionals and in the bus drivers. So those are the areas that we're seeing where it's like, how do we attract people? We are hiring. We hired some more last night at the board meeting, and we're continuing to do that. But however, we hire some, and we know that on average, we do lose about 8 to 9 paraprofessionals every month. That has always been the trend. And that's not higher, but we lose compared when you look at, we have about 2,000 paraprofessionals. So when you look at that, it's, you're going to have that rate of people leaving, and we've had that trend for the last several years. We are sitting at a 90% fill rate right now with our paraprofessionals. So the highest rate of vacancies right now for us is 10%. So we're doing much better than a lot of districts are. The other thing that we've been having conversations with our board with is how do we make sure that we're continuing to update and look at how we attract people into our organization, but also how do we support our paras coming and staying in their positions. And we've talked about how we've utilized a teacher from he was one of our teachers in the partner district, and he supports paras coming in, so they're better supported when they go into the school. So those are the efforts that we're trying to do around that. And the pandemic is really where we see the most impact is in that para and bus drivers. However, I feel very fortunate that we are doing a lot better than a lot of districts are. And I just think that we're going to continue to, support our partner districts how we need to, but I just put in the context for all of you as parents to understand that we do have some vacancies, but they're, and we're going to continue to hire for those, but we're trying to make sure we're filling those and coverage and continuing to hire.
Thank you so much, SSD administration. That was very, very powerful, very, very great information at this time. A lot of questions were answered. I don't see anything in the chat as far as questions. Bridget, do you see anything on the parking lot as far as questions for this presentation?
I do not see anything, but let me just double check to make sure that no one just put something in.
While Bridget is getting ready.
The only question was, what is a CSIP?
Okay, what is CSIP?
Great question. So it's a continuous school improvement plan. As Dr. Keenan had alluded to, the strategic plan is really the district's umbrella. If you can think of a huge overarching plan that is able to cover all of our areas in a school district, our finance department, our transportation department, our communications department, our human resource department. A CSIP plan is really getting down into the nitty gritty with the schools. The schools follow our CSIP plan, which it talks about our strategies and then different benchmarks. So where do we want to go with each strategy? And then our schools themselves use that to write their own school. So it actually is pinpointed again for the schools actually to work on strategies. In our partner districts, because all of our partner districts would have a school improvement plan, what our directors do is help support that plan by an area plan, or it's called a variety, not necessarily a CSIP plan, but definitely an area plan or an integrated model plan, where they also help support the special education process and how it feeds into providing the data that's needed for the partner districts.
Hi, we have a question in the chat. How many, I guess we're talking about paraprofessionals, have left to homeschool, or teachers?
I didn't understand that. I'm sorry, Dr. Carter.
Am I not? Oh, no, I'm sorry. How many students served by SSD have left to homeschool? Homeschool students?
To homeschool or homebound? That's two very particular areas.
I'm waiting for some more information.
Bye. I'll set the alarm. Okay. So Kelly, do we have current numbers for students that would be on homebound? I think last I checked, we were 700 maybe, and that would be, I'm sorry, that was SNAP. That's not homebound.
Number of students on homebound is actually down. Some of the students that were on homebound for significant mental health issues are not accessing homebound at this time. They're working through other platforms. As far as students who have withdrawn from their home districts to homeschool, I don't have that number, but I can get it for you guys if you'd like.
Okay, so they need to know how many children have left SSD to be homeschooled. So
I don't know that we would know that unless they turn around and access SNAP. So what I could give you is a number of students that we are seeing through SNAP services that are homeschooled, but I'm not going to be able to tell you how many students have left SSD to be homeschooled.
Okay, and this is a Chief Pendergrass question. Is it possible for SSD parents to serve as one-to-one for students?
Well, it's always possible, but one-to-one relationships for adult support is driven through the IEP. That is one-to-one support. Paraprofessionals are hired to support the entire learning environment and provide personal care needs, provide a variety of things. How a team would decide what type of adult support would be needed for a particular student, of course, would be driven through that IEP process and would have a conversation through the IEP process of what that adult support would look like and what specifically that student would need with the adult support. We always want to make sure we have a rubrics that teams use to actually identify what type of adult support is needed and how much. We often want to be very hesitant when we're looking at adding a lot of one-to-one support, especially as the child grows older and moves through into a secondary setting, because you want to make sure that we are making them self-sufficient, self-motivated, and independent. And that would be the end-all be-all goal.
Okay, so the next, it was a follow-up question to what grade level does the one-to-one support stop? So you just answered it.
Yes, that one-to-one is an IEP team decision and really should be, well, it is monitored on a very regular basis, because I would always say, when was the last time we really want to identify when adults and students are together, the opportunities for social interactions to happen naturally, the opportunities for independency and to practice independency. So it really is a conversation that needs to be focused on and identified through that IEP.
Okay, we have a follow-up question to the homebound homeschool question. This parent just moved virtually and it took them a month of, it said, we just moved to virtual, and it took a month for school to figure it out. So I guess it's a communication piece. How, from the time that a child goes virtual to a time the child, well, the school is notified to get them their needs. What does that communication look like? I think that's what the question is.
So that would be on a, I would hate to just give a global answer for that, because it truly would, I would need to know how the student was moved. If it's through the IEP process, that would be very specific as to what services would look like depending on what environment that student would be attending, therefore virtual. If it was a family choice and they unenrolled from the school and decided to homeschool, that is a different department. That was the SNAP that Dr. Grigsby was talking to earlier of how they perceive. That's no longer an IEP, that's actually an ISP. So we would have to redo the IEP into an ISP and decide what those services look like. So again, if there's specific situations, they can reach out to me directly.
Okay. I'm waiting on one other question. It was a follow-up on the homeschool question. Oh, got a new question while we're waiting on the other one. Ms. Coker, make sure you put your question in the chat. Okay. Let's finish up with the homeschool, and then we'll go back to, we have a curriculum question, and that'll be our last question for sake of time. SSD knows which students are leaving the system and when. Is SSD tracking why students and families are leaving?
We track, go ahead, Dr. Grigsby.
Well, I was gonna give you two things. I just actually, I don't know why the SNAP coordinators are working this late. I emailed them your question and they've already told us 76 kids in the SNAP program are currently homeschooled. As far as tracking, we would indicate where the student has moved to if they've been unenrolled from our district to a different district, maybe in another, or if they're being homeschooled or they've moved to maybe a parochial school or whatever the case may be, but we are not tracking in any official way the reason why they've left.
Okay.
And that's subject to what we are told. So it's what the family reports. There's oftentimes, we definitely record on every exit for MSEP requirements, for state requirements. We need to know the reasons why students are leaving. So we do know why students are leaving, exiting, going to a different school, moving to unknown. If the parents don't report that, then we would show on there parents not reported or families not reported.
Wendy, additionally, when students exit a partner district, just as we track the exit information for students who are attending our sites, the partner districts collect the exit information, which often will include where they're going. But that's information that they collect for the MSIP part, as they're not directly enrolled in special school district. We provide support in their partner district for them.
Okay, this is for Ms. Chiquita McRiddle. Is she still here?
She is.
Okay, Ms. McRiddle, how does SSD look at district curriculum to see if partner district math, for example, is data-driven, evidence-based?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Sure, absolutely. Then I post. Okay. How are no, that's not it. Hold on. How does SSD look at district curriculum to see if partner districts, math, for example, is data-driven, evidence-based?
So when you begin to talk about the curriculum, that is the decision of the partner district. Of course, we would be there in partnership to talk about what it would look like in a special ed classroom, a classroom in which we would provide services. Through our teaching and learning department, we work with our directors, our SPED coordinators, so that they are able to develop the integrated tiered models. And this is to ensure that we're looking at those tiered interventions to support students at tier levels 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. We were going to end with that question. So, Mom, your last question about homeschooling, I'm going to forward that to Dr. Grisby and Chief Pendergrass, because we only have 20 minutes and we got a lot of ground to cover in 20 minutes. Next up is PETA. So I don't know who's presenting. But
Good evening, everyone. This is Latricia.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Morgan.
You're very welcome. And so I just want to say thank you for allowing us some time to share our information with you. I'll be very quick in saying that our program is basically making 3 announcements. And the first one is that the Parent Leadership Institute, or PLI, will be kicking off day 1 next week, February the 16th. Our second announcement is that the Autism Advisory Council meeting will be on February the 23rd. And so we would like each person on here's support in helping us to have more parent family involvement as relates to the autism, that particular committee and body of works. If you have any specific questions about that, please reach out to our program. Yes, ma'am. Dr. Carter? Oh, I thought you were telling me to wait.
No, ma'am. I was just working my fingers. I was trying to make sure I know how to paste and stuff. I'm sorry. I'm doing something else. Sorry.
Okay. So the last announcement is that Charting the Life course will be facilitated by PETA and St. Louis ARC, and that will be on March the 15th. So if you go to our PETA homepage, you will see that there's a registration link there for you to sign up yourself. But if you need support in getting enrolled, don't hesitate to give us a call or send us an email, and we will most certainly make sure that you're able to participate. And so basically that's all I had to share this evening.
And is it true that people can still sign up for PLI because it's virtual, or you cut it off?
That is true. We had people signing up on today. So we will say that we will continue to accept applications for next week. But I would encourage you all to please try and make that happen by Friday of this week, so that we can make sure that the materials that we're going to be sending out to participants, that everybody is prepared on day 1 to get started.
Okay.
Ms. Morgan, can you do us a favor? And when that autism piece that you were talking about, can you be sure that gets emailed to either myself or Dr. Carter, and we will be sure it goes out to all of the PACs, so we can be sure that that's being shared in our PACs also.
We most certainly will. Thank you. That was Rob.
Yes.
Is that Rob? Oh, okay. Yes, we will most certainly do that. PETA staff, is there anything that I missed that you might share with the participants here?
I shook my head no, but
ahead.
I did want to say, so if there is anyone who has had difficulty in attending PLI because of the in-person sessions, please don't hesitate to sign up. And it's a great opportunity for both mom and dad or other family members who might want to attend at the same time and get that information as a group or as a family.
Thank you so very much. And I'll put the information about the upcoming events for PETA, meeting your child's needs using the life course, which I am realizing that is very, very instrumental, especially when they begin to transition, starting at the elementary stage, 5th grade into 6th grade. How do you want your child's life to be, and what are the tools that you would like to see them use? And this will be very, very helpful. We have several parents, Debbie, that have had problems with trying to navigate getting into BSP. So this is a very, very excellent way in getting those transitions started. And also tools in the IEP process is another one. So please, please, please use the, here's the thing. I'm one of those people, if it's available, why not do it? Because no one is going to really tell you exactly what you need to do, but these classes give you step-by-step instructions so that you will be more educated on what you need to do to advocate for your child and other children. I can tell you, every time I go into an IEP, they say, oh Lord, here come Dr. Carter. Because I have learned so much, especially when it comes to children in needs and services. I was approached about a young man that I service as a ELL teacher, and I was like, I think he needs more services. I think you can reevaluate. You need to talk to the parent and see if y'all can reevaluate the IEP or reevaluate his amendments. His goals, because what I'm hearing you say is this, and what you really can do is this. And they're like, oh God, why did I ask her anything? So I'm just saying, but you are armed with more information. So yes, please, please, by all means. And I know this for to be true. Miss Redding, Miss Fiasco, and Miss Boo. Thank you, Boo. They will come out to your local PAC meetings and present. They will come out to your local PAC meetings and present. And I would like to give a shout out to all the directors that are on the call, especially my director, Dee Barnes. She is phenomenal. Speaking of local PACs, we're moving forward to that. Do we have any committee reports from local PACs?
Thank you, Dr. Carter.
Thank you, Ms. Morgan. Do we have any announcements or goings on from local PACs?
I just wanted to say thank you to Deb. I talked with her today. Rittner's going to do, we canceled our January because of weather or COVID. Our February is going to be talking about summer resources. And Deb right away today says, oh, I can get either stuff in your hands or one of us will be out there. Just tell me what day. And so, there was no question. It's just one of us will make it work. And so thank you for that. And then Dr. Keenan, I also wanted to say to you, as you talked about the staff and not losing staff, I believe very much so in what I have heard both from PRC, but also from just talking with people. It is a testament to your change of the culture and the climate at SSD and making everybody to feel that they matter and everybody's a part of that, not that you work collaboratively together. So I give you some of the credit for that. So thank you for coming in and making that change within that culture.
Excellent. Excellent. Dr. Keenan has been a very, very good collaborative partner. Excellent. Anyone else, local PACs? I can speak for Pattonville. I would like for Ferguson Florissant to speak on their PAC. Well, I'll go ahead with Pattonville. We had our second meeting and we had a fantastic time. Deb Fiasco came, and we had multicultural parents there. So we are really learning a lot. We learned what PAC really meant and what advocacy really is, and how that we can advocate for ourselves and others who of students who receive special needs, and how to advocate in the correct way for our children. So that was a fantastic meeting. Ferguson, Florida, Cassandra, or Latoya? They had a star-studded PAC meeting. That's why I want them to talk.
I'll go ahead and speak on that. Ferguson Florissant just now really getting started back again. And I want to truly thank those that came out and gave the information, because now our motto is roaring for our students. And they see that, we're serious about advocating for our students. There was a poll, and it's a lot of autistic children based off the poll data that we received. And so I'm just looking forward to working with those that are with the local PAC of Ferguson Florissant, so we can continue to bring information to parents and just the awareness, because our students really, really need this.
And she also had Dr. Keenan, Chief Pendergrass, Miss Chiquita McRiddle, all the people there, really there to support her. We are so thankful for your collaboration, SSD admin, with the Ferguson Florissant PAC. It was phenomenal. We're now in the hands of Christina Blankenship. We have one public comment. Christina. And while Christina is coming, can we please go ahead and put the plus Delta feedback form in the chat to everyone?
I will get that up, Dr. Carter.
Thank you, babe.
Okay. All right, we have one public comment tonight. It comes from Mary Fitzgerald, our Kirkwood SSD PAC member, sharing some information for the good of the group. I'm sharing information regarding the Tuesday hearing for House Bill HB 2095, still in committee. Did you know children with disabilities are 3 times more likely to be abused than their peers without disabilities? Children with intellectual and mental times the risk of being sexually abused. In addition, abuse is typically more severe and is more likely repeated for a longer period of time. Currently in Missouri, a public school superintendent can do his or her own investigation when a teacher or staff member has been identified. Must stop. This must stop. Children's Division needs to get involved, and outside investigations should happen. House Bill 2095 would prohibit this self-investigation of abuse in schools. Please protect children by submitting testimony in support of House Bill 2095. Submit testimony, and then there's a link here, https://house.mo.gov/all-hearings, and then there's an ASPX (NID = 6562. image, unless we speak up, Missouri schools will continue to investigate themselves when staff has been named in allegations of abuse. This bill ends at age 18, thus not including protecting our adults in district programs until 21. This bill includes investigations of allegations of physical abuse against students, including unlawful restraint, disciplinary peddling. Yes, it's still in Kirkwood. The Encompass resolution report found evidence of 30 alleged adult perpetrators of sexual misconduct and abuse in 50 years. Several known survivors are neurodiverse students. None of these crimes were prosecuted. Some staff continued to work in the district for 20 years. Others went outside agency to investigate all alleged abuse. Thank you. So thank you, Mary, for sharing this. We will be attaching this to the minutes, and so that this will be going out as well.
Thank you for the information. Now we need a motion to adjourn.
Dr. Carter, I make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
May I have a second?
I'll second. This is Kim.
All right, Kim. Reminder, I don't have a question, I have a comment. Reminder, we do not have a meeting next month. And the next meeting will be in April. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank
Aye.
you. Have a
Thank
great night. Bye-bye. Thank you, Dr. Keenan. We appreciate you.
Good night, everyone. Great meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, new member. Thank you, all the new members and everybody who have to re-up. Thank you. Kim, you still on here? She's gone. Okay. Dr. Barnes, we're gone. Good night, everyone.